Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bad Ideas Garage. My name is Steven and today we are reviewing this C32 AMG. We got this car on trade for our R-Class diesel project. We had an offer from a friend of ours to get this AMG. Dale had actually never owned an AMG before, so this is the first one that he's ever owned, and he went to town replacing all sorts of things on this. This is a special Carlsson edition as well, and so we're going to be going through everything with this car. We're going to go on a nice long test drive later today, and then this car is actually for sale, and so if you'd like to get yourself a C32 AMG, then we'll give you a heck of a deal. Stick around for our review. So while this is not the best or most sorted version of a AMG vehicle, these are really inexpensive. If you want to get yourself an AMG, it's basically this. The C43s, like the C43 that I had before I modified it, those are going up in value because they're getting harder to find, and then E55 values, those are getting really expensive, the W210s and then the W211s. So this one has a couple imperfections, as you can see, but mechanically this is just absolutely solid. It has 140,000 miles on it, and it has a supercharged V6. And so when we go on that test drive later today, you'll just see how fun this car is to drive. I know that that was a very short review of the outside of this car, but really the best part about this car is driving it. So we're gonna hop in the car, Dale's gonna come with me, we're gonna go on a drive, and we'll talk more about the W203 and about this Carlsson C32 AMG. All right, hopping in. Yes, AMG. Let's fire it up. All right, well, I can't really hear too much. That's okay. This is the world's easiest cabin air filter to replace. There's that.
Yeah. New air injection pump, that's what was causing most of my coding errors. New idler pulley. Special to this car, bloody expensive. Oh yeah, it had the wrong intake on it. I had to replace this. This one had, for some reason, the one off an S55. I had to actually buy the correct one. That was shockingly expensive.
Yeah. There's a supercharger and all the fun stuff. And it looks really sorted, Dale.
It's doing good.
And now we are going to go on a supervised trip today. So I have Dale.
How's it going?
And we're going to just kind of see what the now sorted C32 feels like. I did get to drive this before Dale sorted everything, and so we're going to do a little bit of comparison here.
It was a bit rough to begin with. It runs a lot better now. Also handles better. So there's that.
And it just seems like it's more sorted and, you know, clean.
Well, yeah, a little bit of a scrub brush does that.
All right, well, let's see how it goes. Alrighty, so we're gonna pull onto the street here. Probably not in front of this log truck.
If you want to hammer it, turn ESP off. Otherwise it'll cut power.
ESP is off.
Go for it.
There we go. There are more miles to the gallon than this gets. This does feel like it's attached to, you know, real suspension now. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens with the stock suspension back in. Those cheap coilovers were a nightmare. Still got them. Next owner can have them if they want them, but that's not what I want.
I've somehow turned on the windshield wipers. They are now off. Give it, as I call it, give it the beans.
If you want to make it downshift, you gotta hit all the way down on these.
Oh, it's still even, I don't know, that was what, third gear or whatever?
Yeah, it's gonna take off third or fourth.
I do like the seating position in this is really nice.
Yeah, this one's got full manual override too, so if you want, you can manually shift it. There you go. It tells you what gear you're in, you can slapstick it.
Oh, nice, okay.
Yeah, so you got full manual controls. Right now you're in fifth. There you go. Drop it down into first, so you feel that one.
Okay.
And now you can really hear the supercharger.
Okay. Yes, that was quick. That doesn't feel as quick as I'm actually going. That's a little terrifying. That.
Yeah, you're still in third gear.
Yes, I'm still in third gear. But that was going plenty fast.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
So throwing in full manual control, because this has the Carlsson transmission too, and it allows you to really control it.
Yeah. Jeez. Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah.
It's fast. And then we're gonna put it down into fifth and just
300 odd horsepower from supercharged V6. You'll feel it.
so there we go. Did that Carlsson tune? Did that give it any more power?
Yeah, so apparently they tuned the ECU and they tuned the transmission. I don't know, how much the engine tune did. The transmission tune is very obvious because it has a manual mode, which is not stock on these.
Yeah.
And it definitely changes the shift points.
Yes.
That said, the sport mode is still it's like every 72.6. A bit slow. It is what it is. It's a mid 2000s 5-speed. They are what they are. But with the manual override, it feels really solid. You still got a little bit of that lag. I mean, it's proper transmission. It's not a dual clutch or anything. But you can really bring it out.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell, and I mean, it feels. Is there still like a sport tune on the suspension compared to stock?
So this is you still got the AMG control arms and things like that.
Okay, that's why.
The 203 sport shocks.
Okay, yeah.
So
because I mean, the suspension. I mean, you could feel it. This is just it's tight, but it does kind of bounce a little bit more over the bumps.
Yeah, it's not like when we had the coilers on there where it just everything. It felt like the whole car was rattling itself to pieces. It was very planted. It was very unpleasant. This is much. It's better for the car. These are cars that don't take the coilovers very nicely. Is what I discovered.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It's coming out of that corner. It's like it's violent coming out of the corner.
That said, I mean, to do that, you still got ESP off. It'll cut power pretty aggressively. So that's the one thing about this. It has the ESP profile is unchanged, and it will cut power pretty violently.
Jeez. Yeah, that was we're on a country road. That was what 10 mile an hour turn. It's going a little bit faster than that, and then I did it up to 55, and it was just like that.
Yeah.
And then you go back, and then I mean, it's a little bit. It's still. It feels like it's a sports tune suspension. It's still very smooth ride.
Oh yeah.
But this is just. It's just insane. And then you can pop it back into fifth. You put it back into the regular sport mode or summer mode, and then it turns into a regular car that you can just drive.
Yep. Well, at the end of the day, it's still a nice car to be in, right? You got the leather seats, you got the rear sun visor. Like it's a C class, but it's a nice C class.
It does still have that Mercedes just smooth suspension feel, even though it's a little bit different. The last time that I drove a Mercedes, I know you drive one every day, but last time I drove a Mercedes was that W210, which is wafty.
Yeah, it's very different. This one's tight. It feels tight and planted on the road.
So you're going to look both ways,
and you can hear that supercharger line up. And then, that F55.
Yeah, and that's we get up to the Oregon Basic Rule very quickly in this vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
So the ESP is off, but there's still like an anti-skid reduction program that's still on.
Yeah, it still runs.
Okay.
Turn ESP back on, and you're going to notice, especially if you try to take off in a curve, it's going to pretty aggressively cut it, which is really interesting. It really changes the behavior of it.
This one's going to be going to a new home.
Yeah. I've got too many cars right now. Too many silver Mercedes.
I know that's a hard thing for a car guy to hear, that there's too many cars, but it is true that this one's heading to a new home. And Dale, gosh, do you know all the things that you did to it?
Yeah, this one was a bit of a mess when I got it. So it needed all new idler pulleys. I actually shattered one on the way home. That was a nightmare. Let's see, suspension, full redone, new shocks, new springs, new everything in that area. New tranny mount, it was shot. New transmission conductor plate, it was shot. Transmission plug, it was shot. Transmission fluid filter change, all that was done. TCU was cleaned out because of that leak. Obviously it leaked up the loam, and I just screwed that up. Oil change, of course. And what else did I have to do? Rear brake light was out and had to be replaced as a single unit LED, so that's new. New headlights, the ones installed were incorrect.
Those were bad.
Yeah, they were the wrong HID bulbs, so the correct ones are now installed, so I don't look like a total racer.
Dale typical German Rice Rocket Macaulay.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have a ring to it.
A bunch of resets that need to be done. Climate control is now all sorted. AC works, and everything's happy there.
There's 140,000 miles on it.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. Looks all good. All these controls
Need to be clean. It was filthy.
There's all sorts of fun things you can do.
Power steering leaks. Need all new seals.
There we go.
Did that. Forgot about that one.
This is telling me that...
Oh, an exhaust. Didn't have an exhaust.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Dad had an exhaust. Didn't have one.
Oh, that's right. It was just so loud because
It was cut off.
Did he just? Yeah, I was gonna say he just lopped it off.
Yeah, it was just cut off. Straight piped all the way out. So I had to add a muffler so you could actually drive it and not get pulled over.
So this is showing me that.
I had a headliner panel because there was no panel here. So that's.
Hey, that looks real sharp.
I know. You can ignore that.
Okay.
Just click any button. There
Yeah.
you go.
So mine does that too. So I was getting a warning light.
Yeah, it's correct on the stick, but it's not a correct according to the sensor, and I just don't care.
Yep. So the 210, if you watch that video, it just the big warning comes on about that. These cars still have a stick, to my understanding.
No, it has a dipstick hole, but it doesn't actually have a dipstick in it. But
That's right.
I have the Mercedes dipstick, and I've checked it, and it's right. The sensor says it's reading high.
Okay.
I'm not going to replace that sensor.
Yeah, as we learned, that was a pain in the butt in the 210.
Yeah, it's way buried in there. Not happening.
This car is saying that on my trip, I'm getting 14.6 miles to the gallon, and Dale, since you restarted this car, which is over the last 191 miles, 9 hours of driving, 13.4 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dale.
You don't buy one of these for fuel economy. You just don't.
Jeez. Yeah, that would get a little addicting.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as fast or as immediate as the CL600. You know, 0 to 60 in 4 and a bit, maybe 5 and a bit in this one versus 3 in the 6.
So the 0-60 in this one's in the mid-4s?
I think so.
Something like
I
that.
haven't looked it up. I remember that's what the book time was on it. I have to go check it.
Yeah, I will say that going over those bumps back there, I did that in the old suspension, and I was all over the place and had a hard time controlling the car.
Yeah, it just shattered your teeth.
But this one was really easy to control. Okay, here's our 15-mile-an-hour turn. Yeah, so when you have the manual mode and the ESP off, and that was I didn't do anything with the transmission besides it's in summer mode, and the ESP is on, and I didn't even take the turn correctly, and it just kind of, I mean, it was cool, but having the manual mode and also turning that ESP off makes a huge difference.
It totally changes the characteristics of the car. Because right now you're just basic Mercedes mode. It feels good. It feels comfy. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Right. It feels like every other Mercedes. But you turn both those things off and you spin that supercharger up, and it's a very different character.
Okay, that's gonna be our last pull here. I know, no ESP. Let's turn that ESP off. Oh, that is way better.
Right. It just changes the car.
Oh, it just gives a little bit of a tail wag, and then it says, hey, I'm still monitoring this, and a huge smile to the gallon. Oh gosh, that did make a huge difference. That was a good last pull, and we're gonna pull it back into the Bad Ideas garage here, and someone is really going to love this car. ESP back on, it's just...
Well, they're just a bargain. They're the only cheap AMG you can still get. Everything else has gone nuts. Try to buy an E55 right now, they're 15 plus grand. C32s, they're the only thing that's still affordable. You can get a lot of car for what? 4 to 6. Really nice ones of these go for 8 to 10. Like, they're just affordable.
Yeah, the C43, I know that mine is not exactly stock, but the C43s are pretty rare, and a couple years ago they were in that spot.
Yeah.
Where if you could find one, they were very reasonably priced. High mileage ones were less, obviously, but now just because they're hard to find, they're starting to really go up in value. The ones that I've seen recently are ones that have had the engine swap to the E55 engine. And then my E55 that I had that was a parts car, even that had a lot of value to it, which was wild.
Well, that was a naturally aspirated one, though.
And then the supercharged
that's a big
ones
difference. Everything supercharged now is just going up. S55s, the supercharged versions, and the E55s, they're just, everything in this generation where it's supercharged, the prices have just exploded except for these. The C32s are still affordable. They're going up, but you can get them, and you can still get them in, you know, $6-7 grand.
Yeah, I have friends that have like 2006, 2007 E55, and I love the 211. You know, I had the 211 with the V6 as a wagon, and I loved it. And that car just felt so balanced for how big, what I thought was big.
Yeah.
So that as a sedan, and then with a supercharged engine, would just be a awesome daily fun car, whatever. But yeah, I haven't seen them. I know you look up these things a lot more than I do.
I mean, the fit and finish in the 211 E55 is better. I mean, this generation of C-Class, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's very different from the 202. It's a little more modern, but these days it looks a little dated. It's, it's got some of the swoopy, early 2000 stuff going on in this interior. It's all fine. The 211 was a step up. That's for darn sure.
Yeah,
but,
this is a much this is much more stepped up. The 202 to this 203.
Yeah.
I mean, it is night and day. This feels like a much more put together car.
It's a much more modern car.
And there's all sorts of other stuff in here. Actually, let's. It just feels like there's a lot more that's going on in this vehicle. And you do, like you're saying, that there's some stuff that kind of feels dated in terms of the design.
Yeah, I like the design around these air vents. This treatment is very much of its era. It kind of looks like the Porsche 911s from the same era, where you got the kind of swoopy round stuff going on. Yeah, that stuff doesn't really hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've got an older infotainment system, but it still runs good. I suppose it sounds all right.
Yeah, does the navigation system work?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's cool.
There's a nav disc in there, but it's there.
Okay, there's no phone.
Yeah, no phone on this one.
But you have heated seats.
Yep. You got the rising.
Oh.
No. Nope. Not working today. Great, it used to work.
Some of them do.
Yeah, I tried to check that.
But I mean, this climate control is much more put together with what it can do, which is really great.
You got dual climate on either side, and it does work.
And filter setting, even this computer that you can run through all of the things, everything. This just seems a lot more robust with what you can do with this one. Obviously, you have cruise control, the usual Mercedes goodies on the mirror, the SOS buttons, the sunroof. But over here is just I really like the placement of all of this. But you have memory seats. I don't have that in my 202. And it looks like you can manually override the windshield wiper fluid over the headlights.
Yep, that's for it.
There you go.
You got the fake carbon fiber turned metal material.
Yes.
Some had wood. The AMGs didn't really have this kind of stuff.
There we go. Oh,
it's of its era, to put it mildly.
Does the cup holder work? I'm not going to touch it because I know that these. Oh, there we go. It works.
It still works. As usual, completely overcomplicated, but it is still functional.
There we go. Oh, that's fun. Okay, and you have like the usual, glove box and a lot of usual Mercedes things in here, which is all good. It's just the driving position in this is just so excellent.
And a surprising amount of rear legroom too. I mean, these were this is a compact car, but it's surprisingly good back there. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time back there, but it's not bad.
Well, now that I have a kid, the thing that I notice, it's got child seat anchors down there, so I can easily put a child seat back there.
AMG embossed into
yes, there we go. My kid deserves to have an AMG embossed bucket seat for where he sits.
There you go.
There we go. And that's the review of our C32 AMG. We are definitely sad to see it go, but it already got sold within the first 24 hours. There was about 700 views and 20 inquiries, and it went very fast. So now we get to go back and focus on our other projects, which should be lots of fun. I'm sure Dale's going to get something in his garage soon. In my garage, I get to focus on the C43 AMG, and yes, there are going to be videos that are coming out soon, I promise you. And then, of course, my 1981 EJ22 swapped EA81 Subaru. So those are the videos we have coming up in the next couple weeks. Hope you stick around. Make sure and like and subscribe below. See ya!